You're breathtaking.
Students of Reddit, what was your school's big scandal? Had a few. High school math teacher got a DUI on a tractor and was fired. NCS teacher had an affair while both were married to other people. They eventually both divorced and ended up marrying each other. Accounting teacher married a student about a week after she graduated. Rumor was that they were already sleeping together when she was 16 and she was pregnant before graduation as well by the teacher. A couple bomb threats. The summer after I graduated, the principal was caught propositioning underage teenage male prostitutes. Underage teenage male prostitutes. I'm sorry, what? My history teacher blackmailed the girls who weren't doing so good on his class. He exchanged good grades for nudes. At the end of my senior year, we had bomb threats about 2-3 times a week. One of them was written in lipstick on the mirror of one of the girls' bathrooms. It said, "Bomb Manana." It was so ridiculous. Shit like this had us standing out in a grass field for hours while the police checked the building. Were they trying to say mañana? LOL. Turns out my geography teacher was a pedophile with several thousand accounts of child pornography on their computer. How did they find him out? Someone burned down one of our buildings. Oh, I forgot all about this student crime. In middle school, a kid broke in one night to the building with the library. He piled up a bunch of books and set them on fire. Plus, he stole some stuff. One of the things he stole was a t-shirt from a fundraiser display. He got busted because he wore the shirt, a shirt no one else would have. This actually came out during my last semester there, but it had been happening for years. One of the English teachers had been having sex with a few select students every year. Most were football players. It got really weird. When I had her class, it wouldn't be out of place if a student from another class asked to go to the bathroom and just went to her room to see her. One day some kid brought her a drink from McDonald's because he was late to school and got breakfast. It only came out because there was this one girl who was in an argument with her for some reason and said something along the lines of, "That's why you frick your students." And the whole incident got brought up to the office and they interviewed everyone. Found out she'd had sex with multiple students for the past few years. Edit. I've been getting a lot of comments asking if this was in. All I'll say is that it was in Georgia. A bunch of seniors were having a graduation party in the woods. One of them passed out drunk, rolled into a 6-inch deep culvert and drowned. They didn't notice he died until morning. Edit. From the comments. Fricking hell? Just how common is this sort of thing? As someone who had to clear his friend's throat of vomit while he was slowly succumbing to alcohol poisoning and then taking a call from his mother the next morning while he was in the hospital recovering, let me tell ya, that shit will make you grow up fast. That's just sad and unfortunate. A string of deaths 3 years in a row was finally broken when some guy jumped out a 2-story building but lived. Every year in my school, one student would die. Freshman year, we had a guy commit suicide because of bullying. Sophomore year, a girl gets hit by a car. And junior year, a guy gets a heart attack at 17. Senior year was the only year I heard of with no deaths. We had a senior, male student in my high school who knocked up a freshman and a Spanish teacher within like a week of each other. Dios mío, damn. He should have wrapped the burrito before bringing it to the fiesta. Double child support. It's awesome. What an absolute chad. It was in 2007, but my high school had a string of bomb threats. There was a bathroom where no cameras could see who went in or out. And someone wrote in Sharpie across one of the stall doors, "There's a bomb in the school with that day's date." The school was evacuated, and we all went home. For the next few months, there was a bomb threat seemingly every Friday. We'd be in the middle of the first or second period, then we'd all go home. After we missed enough days, we all had to come in on several Saturdays, and the bomb threats stopped. We also had a bunch of bomb threats around the same time, but they caught the guy doing it. I guess he had a couple of tests he didn't want to do, so he used the bomb threats to force an evacuation to get extra time. The school held a special assembly just for the sole purpose of making him apologize in front of the whole school. He cried the entire time. Teacher sent nudes to a kid because the kid pretended to be a different person on a dating website. Teacher left. Kid was expelled. Chemistry teacher spilled mercury in the lab at my high school. She tried to clean it up herself, which only further contaminated the lab and didn't tell anyone about the spill. She was arrested and it cost the school $60K to have it cleaned up. Don't know what happened regarding her charges. Happened at my school too. Another kid and I had to clean the chemistry lab for detention in 7th grade. He spilled about a cup of mercury, stored in an open beaker, on the floor. Science teacher made us clean it up by scooping it up with index cards. This was in the late 80s. Never reported and absolutely no one gave a shit. Completely different time, man. Not my school, but the small town high school where my kids now attend. Married female office admin sexes up a female student. Goes to jail for a few years. 10 years later, husbands of both women find out they have secret cell phones and have been carrying on a relationship off and on since the older one got out of prison. That sounds like a Lifetime movie. I've posted it before but having a hard time finding it. Anyways, an English teacher slapped a kid in class and retired that week. The dream of plenty a teacher. On my last day before retirement, I wanted to slap the principal and go outside at dismissal and yell at all the driving parents who were disregarding law and common sense, nearly running over children daily. 2 years ago, a senior brought in a sex doll for Secret Santa. He then brought it to the senior room and essentially had a fake gangbang with it with 20 other people. That's just group masturbation with extra steps. Not a scandal, but my entire high school was put under lockdown because there was a rabid squirrel on campus. Girl attempted suicide in the girls' bathroom. Guy got caught having sex with a teammate in the locker room after practice. 3 girls caught snorting cocaine in the bathroom. Someone was boinking a teacher, but we never found out who. Teacher resigned. Someone put red hots in the hand dryer in the boys' bathroom and it caught fire. 4 years of school. 3 fire alarm pulls. Growing up in a 3K population town in the middle of freaking nowhere was crazy as hell sometimes. These events were over my 4 years of high school. Edit. 3 fire alarms due to actual fires. Sorry for not clarifying. When I was in primary school, 9-yo, a kid from 1st grade caught my teacher and the principal doing it in his office. MRS, Crabapelle and Principal Skinner were in the closet making babies, and I saw one of the babies, and then the baby looked at me. The biology teacher was having an affair with the principal. Yeah, my principal was having sex with every teacher. I was homeschooled, though. It's downright wholesome to see age-appropriate sex scandals in schools. A girl got pregnant and told everyone the father was her English teacher. Turns out, nah, no one even knows who the father is, her included. Was she just fricking all of the boys in the school? Some students put pins into the sewing teacher's coffee. Luckily the teacher was okay, but it definitely could have been worse. A 16-year-old sending nudes to a 12-year-old in a Baptist school. Did he get in trouble? A woman with severe medical issues, both physical and mental deficiency, snuck away from her group home and hid in the broom closet of our cafeteria for 2 days. She ate all of our garlic bread, took someone's jacket, and walked out 36 hours later. This was in 2007. We didn't have cameras or anything and no one saw her go in or out. They only knew she was there because the jacket had the name of the high school, and when she was found she straight up told the police she had been hiding in there for 2 days. The group home said she had been missing for roughly a day and a half. Parents were upset obviously, but nothing changed until last year when the school shut down due to low attendance admission enrollment. She ate all of our garlic bread, took someone's jacket, and walked out 36 hours later. Power move. Low attendance isn't too few students or people not coming to school? There was a male head of year who was gay and had sexual relations with a guy who was a minor without knowing he was a minor. He left the school but I believe did not face any legal repercussions because it was clear that he had been deceived into thinking the individual was an adult / could legally give consent. Happened to a friend of mine. Met at a party. He was 18, she claimed to be 17. They hooked up. A month later she thinks she's pregnant and her parents end up getting the story out of her. Turns out she was 14. Yeah? She ended up not being pregnant. Thank God. But her parents filed charges against him. He was never convicted. BC, there were enough witnesses that could back him up from the party, and I even think she eventually caved and went on record stating she had lied about her age. I had to give a statement. It all worked out in the end, but it was a scary few months there. Teacher sucked the kid's dick during my senior year. He showed a few people the video, then he proceeded to move to California. She still works there to this day. Empty balls make safe halls. This got more attention than I thought, so I have to credit Andrew Schultz for the joke. My sophomore year of high school, the gym teacher's brother gets hired as the computer teacher. Nice guy, was personable. Not as much as his brother, but still. 2/3 through the year he just vanishes and most of the teachers don't want to talk about it. Eventually it gets out that when he was in college, the computer teacher got into a barroom brawl. During the brawl he took a pool ball, put it inside of a sock, swung it and smashed the guy in the head with it. The guy who got hit had permanent brain damage. The school found out midway through the year and that is why they let him go. Can you imagine the thought process it would take to conclude that your best course of action in a bar brawl was to take off a shoe, take off a sock, stuff a pool ball into it, and then hit someone? Wow. Couple things happened at my school. One of the pay teachers basically sexually assaulted a lot of girls while teaching gymnastics. We also had like 10 people from the same grade picked up by police because they were selling drugs in school, and I mean like a lot of drugs. All the drugs. Was during my sophomore year. A male super senior was having sex with a female freshman in the women's restroom. The hell is a super senior? In my senior year, one of the popular football players was killed while he was driving drunk. It was obviously big news on campus, and just a few days after, the school had this giant memorial on our football field dedicated to talking about how great of a guy he was and how he'll be dearly missed. He also got like 5 consecutive pages in our yearbook dedicated to him. But not long before his death, A less popular band student had committed suicide and his death didn't receive nearly as much coverage. He didn't get a giant memorial and he didn't get mentioned in our yearbook. One girl made this giant rant about this double standard on Facebook and it went viral around our campus. Our school was split. Some people praised her for pointing it out. Others were pissed and said that what she did was inappropriate. Even one of my English teachers defended the football player. She said that his death was a tragic accident, whereas the band student chose to die, and that there's a big difference. This girl went on to leave the school because she was getting death threats from friends of the football player, and our entire campus was completely divided over this whole incident. We currently have a lawsuit against our district. The nurses are claiming harassment against an intermediate principal, and the district refused to step in. Apparently the nurses caught him having an affair and told his wife. He pinned one against a wall and demanded to see her phone. Bless those nurses if it was true. Cheem's student in our engineering school was making high-quality meth to pay for his schooling. Got caught his senior year right before graduation. You know he couldn't have done it himself. I feel like your science teacher, or White, may have helped him. Not that juicy. But the basketball coach/gym/sex ed teacher was a teacher who clearly hated working with we little shits like us. So some of us did some investigating how he came to be our phys ed teacher. Turns out he had been a basketball coach for one of the top university teams in the country just 5 blocks away from our school. But he violated ethics codes by playing players who were academically unable to play and had evidence of him talking to professors about their grades. Got sacked, and our high school basketball scholarship/private type jumped at the opportunity to pick up a coach ban from university leagues. Of course he'd have to run gym class and teach 13-year-olds about their changing bodies as well. Guy really lucked out. Most middle school teachers I met hate it. At that age kids are so hormonal and violent. I remember witnessing students curse at teacher, steal things from teachers, attack teachers, to look cool in front of their friends. I guess the biggest scandal was when a teacher tried to kill herself and failed. Teacher and student were arguing about something. Student got in teacher's face. Teacher yelled at him to get out. Student said no. Teacher spat in student's face. Student pushed him against blackboard. Video ends. This class was hella annoying though. There are so many videos about them harassing the teacher. One guy rolled a cig in class next to the teacher. I think he was expelled, and multiple students as well. So on the day ahead of a huge event that was going to happen in the auditorium of our school, someone pissed on the audio equipment in the auditorium of our school, and it ended up not working anymore. The principal announced that anyone who was a witness and who could tell them who culprit is would receive 500 euros from the school. Turns out it was someone from our neighboring class, and probably 8-10 guy from the class went into the principal's office to rat him out and receive the money. Just that the majority of them who went there were just claiming to have witnessed it to receive money as well. The guy got expelled from school and had to pay for new audio equipment, which was probably at least around 3,000 minus 4,000 euros. Though I don't know whether everyone who ratted him out ended up receiving the 500 euro or not. Our school cheerleaders shit on a pizza and balled little turds up to look like sausage and sent it to the rival school. Edit. Yo, some of y'all got weird fetishes. Leave me out of it and quit DMing for pics of the cheerleaders. That was like 14 years ago. On the lighter side, the vice principal wrecked his car one night coming back from a school football game. Somehow he had managed to hit a dead cow on the side of the road. For the rest of the year he got subjected to random moves when he walked down the halls. Well, there are a bunch of kids who smoke and vape in the bathrooms, but last year the physics teacher had a huge thing for underage girls. The biggest scandal there ever was in my school was on the news. Some student left a racist and homophobic note on a black gay teacher's desk. It basically said that he should be ashamed of being gay and that little black pussies shouldn't be allowed in a school. Really bad shit. Reporters were all over the school. The teacher filed a report to the cops, but they were never able to catch the one who did it. This one is just really sad. Think about the embarrassment and heartbreak this teacher felt. Head teacher called a girl fat, was overheard by an older student, and the head subsequently locked the two girls in a room, forcing them to sign something saying that it never happened. The older girl refused to sign it and called her parents, who are lawyers. It was never really resolved. The girl who was called fat left the school, and several governors left. The head is still there and everyone knows about this occurrence. Not my current school, but a teacher was fired for cheating on his wife with ex-students. Was a shame because he just had a kid. My SOS school recently had a TA leave, and then his Snapchat of 2 sixth form students in bed with him was leaked. Please subscribe if you liked the video. It really helps the channel to grow. See you again.